Check out the rack on that chick.
It's 13 years rolled into one huge night, which was then rolled into 2 big hours for your viewing pleasure. Comedy Central's Bar Mitzvah Bash, celebrating 13 years of us. Sunday, April 25th at 10.
That is our show. Join us tomorrow night at 11. Johnny Knoxville will be here to discuss the war on terror. Here it is, your moment is in.
If I were cool, and I told you I was cool, I wouldn't be cool.
Ooh! Hi. Welcome to Tough Crowd. Good news from Iraq. Good news, finally, from Iraq. I just saved money on my car insurance. Let me tell you something. Iraq is where civilization began, by the way. Unfortunately, it appears to have stayed that way. Now, this is World War III, folks. This is it. You can tell your grandkids that you lived during Armageddon. Oh, you don't believe this is the battle of good and evil? See the movies this weekend. Number 1, The Passion. See what number 2 was? Hellboy. How does Scooby-Doo 2 figure into the equation? I'm not sure yet, but I'll get to it. Everything from Iraq to the 9/11 Commission says one thing to me. Our country has all the power, but we won't use it. The FBI is in trouble for not being intrusive enough. You know, because, you know, the FBI must have been goofing off, but not because they're just like any other office, only they're getting so much cooler downloads to send to each other. You know, people getting killed, famous people having sex from the 60s, cool secrets. You know, it's hard to get into it when you got that kind of stuff going around. And we're getting pushed around just like in Vietnam. That's the only thing that's like Vietnam. We're getting pushed around by an army. It'd take us 10 days to wipe out. We need to start threatening people. The minute they kidnapped any civilians, we should have a president that would go on video to the Ayatollah, Shiites, Sunnis, Al-Qaeda, Hezbollah, and Hamas, and go, oh, you kidnapped our guys? What's that smell? Oh, that smells like 60 cents a gallon for super unleaded. Listen, you son of a bitch. Well, with less than 12 weeks to go before the U.S. hands over control of Iraq, the worst fighting since the invasion began continues throughout the country. 70 U.S. soldiers have died since April 1st. What do you think?
Well, I think there's only one real reasonable solution, and if I was John Kerry, that would be my platform. I would say, if elected, I will put Saddam Hussein back in charge of Iraq.
You know, I think we have to redeclare war, because the peace ain't working out. You know what I mean? Yeah, less people died during the war than have died during the peace. So if we redeclare war, everything will be better.
I think we should send our troops to Afghanistan and finish the job there before we go to Iraq and invade. I mean, I would be pissed off if I lived in Iraq and all of a sudden these people are like, you have to live like us. We know better than you do. I mean, it's just ridiculous. Why didn't we finish off Afghanistan before we went to Iraq? And what's this June 30th thing? And now we're begging the United Nations to help us?
And they're kidnapping each other. Did you hear about this? They kidnapped some Arabs too. And they're getting crazy. So
yeah, they kidnap a lot.
They don't care who they. It's like the new thing to do now over there. It's like, Hassan, I'm going to kidnap you.
Yeah.
But they can't.
You would get kidnapped.
They can't.
We get kidnapped.
Yeah, that
but you can't stop them. I mean, that's the real problem. Where it's a dilemma because we can't stay, we can't pull out because it'll be civil war. You have the Shia Muslims who are now being supported by Iran and the Hezbollah guerrillas in Lebanon, and then you have the Sunni Muslims, the Sunnis who worship Woody Allen's wife, and they're not playing games over there.
They don't like each other. How are they going to like, you know, they don't want us.
But there are vast differences between the religions, though. Like, it's hard for us, here it's hard for us to understand, you know, that kind of hatred. But it's like, there's big differences between, like, the Sunnis and the Shia. It's kind of like if you look at the way Lutherans and Catholics feel here in America, it's that kind of rage, you know what I mean? That would lead to, like, murder and mayhem.
But, Greg, you are not into pulling out. I mean, your wife's having her third child.
That is true.
That's true.
But wait, let's hear from...
Well, you always grab...
Where'd you go?
Well, the democracy seems to be working a little bit. I mean, you know, they've been killing each other, kidnapping. I mean, tax evasion maybe next. You know,
You know
what's next?
Tax evasion. The big problem is this is coming right from God. You can't argue with people who are talking to God. You know what I mean? There's nowhere to appeal that. Why are you doing that? Because God told me, I'm done. I got nowhere to go.
the rage, the rage that they feel, like even that we supposedly trained and armed this Iraqi defense group or whatever, and they wouldn't even fight against the people in Fallujah. They wouldn't fight alongside the Americans. So they're not even patrolling their own people. So crime is running rampant, even like petty vandalism, like camel tipping. It's crazy.
Wait, let's talk to somebody from Iran. Go ahead.
Okay,
You were
I'm
born in
originally
Iran?
from Iran, or like we like to say Persian sometimes.
And do you guys want something now?
Seems
like you're moving over there.
Well,
you want something?
Want a piece? We want in. We want in. Well, we never liked Iraq in the first place, but now the whole. First of all, I understand why these people wouldn't want to protect themselves. We never even pronounced the country right. We called it Iraq. It's not Iraq. It's Iraq.
Oh.
Iraq. But Iraq sounds like that's
what it is. So how do you attack a country we don't know how to pronounce?
Saddam or
That's
Saddam?
not the point. Everybody's sitting there doing Monday morning quarterbacking on the damn place. Here's what I say, because I've talked to a few people from Iraq, and everyone who says this.
You were there.
And I was there. But every one of them said the same damn thing, which is that, they'd rather have a democratic thing, but of course they're not going to go against people in Fallujah because they had the power. It's like when the troops leave at night, then it's this guy going, hey, that was pretty good, you know what I mean? So until we put the right people in charge and really, but that's going to take killing. Nobody wants to talk about it. That's going to take killing a lot of terrorists, a lot. Killing. That's how you do it. And if you don't want to do it, fine. But that's the only answer. It's not about
terrorists right now. The guys that are fighting right now aren't terrorists. They're local Iraqis.
Right. Local yokels.
Here's the first thing. The first thing you have to do is get them uniforms. So we know who we're fighting.
Right.
They're all running around looking the same.
Everybody's in a different crew.
Yeah, that's right. So now you got an army, we can deal with that. We can't deal with people. We got to deal with an army.
And they're picking on the Japanese now. Poor Japanese. They're nice and cuddly.
They don't even have an army, and they're getting screwed.
They said, withdraw your troops. They go, we don't have any there. They're like, get them out.
Right, like Poland's got like 6 guys wandering around.
Yeah.
They don't, you know what I mean? And 3 of them been kidnapped, and you go like,
wandering around Lithuania, they think they're in Iraq. I know.
The Azerbaijanis now, they say they're going to pull out. They have 125 people there, and we're paying for it.
There goes the war.
We're financing their guys.
How are we going to do without them?
Yeah, once the Azerbaijanis go.
This is let's face it, this is World War III coming on.
I tell you,
That's it.
I'm taking a stand. I am giving up my timeshare in Fallujah. I have had it.
That's a mistake.
Yeah, but I was booked there for
real estate, it's always a mistake.
I'll wait till the end of the summer.
It always goes up. It
always goes up, no matter what.
All right.
Now, what do you think about this? In Honduras, the street gangs are defying the government they just decapitated their 10th person of the year on a park bench. Well, what do you think? They all have notes saying we hate the president.
Well, they left a severed skull on a park bench with a little note that says "ha ha" on it. So you gotta love any gang that could combine like a horrific murder with a practical joke.
Right. Yeah. Is that on April Fool's Day?
Also, you're assuming this was not the last request of the guy who once belonged to the head.
But they killed.
You know what I mean? You can do what you want with your head after you're dead.
But at what point, you take something like Honduras, perfect example, if they're decapitating heads, if we hypothetically wanted to go in there and like make them democratic like you were mocking before and say be like us, it would probably be better for the average person than having to worry about a street gang cutting your head off, no?
Okay, but it's fine to go in and say, look, I want to improve your life, but why do we have to do it alone? Why couldn't we?
Because France and Russia and the UN are too busy robbing oil and starving Iraqi people.
We said screw the UN. He said screw the UN. And now he's asking them for
the UN said screw us when they were doing all those side deals the past 5 years apparently.
Excuse me, who was doing side? Rumsfeld was doing side deals.
The UN, France, and Russia were doing side deals, getting all that oil for the oil for food program, starving Iraqi people so they get better deals on oil with Saddam. That's what's been happening. Of course, God forbid.
Who gave Saddam? Who was friends with Saddam?
Oh, okay, let's go back to that.
We hooked them up against Iran. They killed a lot of Iranians. It was okay to kill the Iranians. What's up with that?
Well, here's what's up with that.
Get over here, baby.
It was okay. They got the hostages.
Jews and Muslims together.
I'm sorry.
Look at that.
Jew and Muslim.
Yeah, that's really going to work.
Guy gets awfully uppity. They get one nuclear bomb and all of a sudden they're telling people what to do.
It's a high-rise. It's not a nuclear facility.
I said we'll be right back. Cut the camera.
On the season finale of Crank Anchors, we promise no weddings and no cliffhangers. Just plenty of...
I'm drunk.
A taste of... and a whole lot of... Crank Anchors wraps it up tomorrow at 10:30 here on Comedy Central. Crank Yankers is brought to you by the Reebok Classic Leather Wedge. Available only at Foot Locker.
Why don't you take these out for a spin?
Nice kicks.
I'll take them. Reebok Classic Leather BB, only at Foot Locker.
How much inspiration can you fit in a small car? Can you make it fun for 2 or 4? Yes. Will 220 horses inspire it to gallop? Absolutely. Can it have more than enough room for her, him, them? Yes. Chrysler PT Cruiser Convertible, starting at $19,995. Chrysler. Inspiration comes standard.
Hey, I like big. Bigger is always better. Big engines, big boats, big screen TVs, the Big Dipper, big trucks with big tires, big tools, and big hair. I like big American flags. I figure if you're gonna knit something, make it about 4 acres wide, because I like things big. Like this. This is big. Ballpark big.
Ballpark Franks. Be big, be meaty, be frank.
By the way, I'm Frank.
Nice to meet you.
Very nice.
Like all light beers, it's low in carbs. Unlike any other light beer, it's got the great taste of Bud Light. What we have here is a failure to compromise. Fresh, smooth, real. It's all here.
Are you ready to take a ride on the wild side? Order the hot net and merge into the fast lane with the hottest adult movie channel on television, featuring more than 17 world premieres each month. The biggest stars in their most exciting roles, and more award-winning adult films than any other movie network. Order today and take the ride of your life with the hot net.
With DSL, I almost got reliable service.
With DSL?
I almost have the fastest speed.
Almost.
I almost understand what DSL is offering.
Almost.
Almost got a good value. Almost.
If almost is good enough for you, there's always DSL. But Optimum Online has no confusing pricing plans, and it's more than twice as fast as DSL. Maybe that's why 9 out of 10 people in Long Island who choose high speed choose Optimum Online. And why you should too.
I almost made a mistake, but then I called Optimum Online.
After an anal sex discussion on Howard Stern, the FCC fined Clear Channel $500,000 when they then yanked Stern from their stations. Now they're threatening to fine Stern's Infinity Broadcasting, the main syndicator. So Stern said this. He said it's not a surprise. It's a McCarthy witch hunt. They, the FCC, are expressing and opposing their opinions to tell us who and what we may listen to. I may be taking off all the stations very soon. My last words to you are GWB. Which I figured out my staff. I think it means George W. Bush.
Oh my God, you're so smart.
Maybe.
I could be wrong. So what do you guys think?
I think he is the scapegoat. I think it is horrible. I think that he's funny. I'm a lessee and a feminist, and I think he's hilarious. And I just can't believe that these corporations who donate to GWB are taking him, one of the funniest guys and a great entertainer, off the air. It's ridiculous. Clear Channel donates to idiot.
And we're supposed to be the country of freedom, and the terrorists hate us for our freedom. Well, there's no more freedoms. They're going to be like, there's nothing else to hate them for. This is horrible.
I know.
No Howard Stern.
Plus, don't forget that, one-legged midget porn stars need a forum.
Exactly.
Yeah, very true.
He has
You know
given
what I mean? He's helping
people a break.
He's literally helping the little people.
But let's forget.
but it's arbitrary. That's what bugs me. I mean, yes, things maybe have slipped here and there, but it's like there's nothing new. He's been doing this stuff for years. It's a great show. It's funny, and now all of a sudden they're cracking down. And the worst thing is that the people at Clear Channel saying the show's indecent and immoral. They were taking sort of swipes at him when he's been on their network for years.
Oh, I know. It made them so much money. I mean, forget it. That they're giving to Bush.
But also the whole idea of those decency standards is, well, children may be listening. But, you know, these morning shows, Stern's on from like 6 to 10. If you can't control your children from 6 to 10, to me, look, for me, you know, I'm a Christian. So I feel it's my responsibility to control my kids. And if I catch them listening to Howard Stern, then you just beat them or burn them with cigarettes or you know, you whip them with the cat o' nine tails. So they suffer like Jesus.
This makes me feel like George W. Bush is not a president for the people. He's the president for his special interests.
But he's not responsible for what the Infinity Board. You can't blame
the FCC. The FCC.
Oh, jeez, you can't blame him.
Oh, he doesn't know.
You can't blame Ashton.
Let me say one thing. Yeah, you're right. He's omnipotent. He's omnipotent. Listen to me. I want to tell you one thing, though. Here's the argument. Of course, we all know Howard Stern is like, of course, they go after the one guy that really is funny and original and thinks out loud and is honest. But wait. All the people that copy him. So if they're on a show, and if somebody's on a show, and they're saying like, you know, this girl's, you know, C word, N word, kill this one, kill Jew, kill our. You guys all think that's okay because that's part of the freedom that we fight for.
Well, no,
answer me.
But even that guy Bubba.
No, you got it.
If
you got a shortwave radio, what's going on now?
They don't say C and
well, I'm just saying that Howard Stern is not the problem. Obviously, they're so dumb they go wrong.
You got to draw a certain line. You got to draw a certain line, but not this. I mean, the fact is,
where do you draw the line, or who draws it? Then?
Well, like you were saying, if it's like hate, if you're promoting hate,
how do you decide what hate is? They could say Howard Stern is hate. I mean, I don't agree with that.
Some of the stuff
but they could easily say when he said this whole thing started when one of his guys called in and said, "You remember?"
Right.
Well, they can beep
That's
it.
how it started.
Well, did he? Because that's the problem.
That's the problem. Right.
Well, that is a bad thing.
He did. Very funny.
So
you just said that is a bad thing. You guys don't think that should be?
No. Here's all we have is freedom of speech.
Yeah.
That's all we have.
That's
But that's a great statement. So you
But
think
wait
if
a
somebody goes in here, they can say whatever they want?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
You can shoot people on TV, but you can't swear at them while you're shooting at them? What the hell? What's the point of shooting them?
What about,
some of the stuff.
That's one point.
Look at the guy in Florida, that Bubba the Love Sponge guy. He actually slaughtered a pig in the parking lot of their station, like a pig, a real pig, not a fat girl.
People go.
That's funny. Because that's more morning. When I heard it, that's morning radio stuff. Slaughter the pig and then kill the fat girl.
Pig, that's good.
So basically, what we're saying here is that anything on TV, cursing, nudity, violence, anything that anybody prohibits on any channel, that's against the civil rights of the people.
No. There are certain places for certain things.
Okay.
CBS has their family comedies, their sitcoms. It's a network show. Everyone gets it.
So they're not allowed to do the other things, but the people that can
There's
curse
a standard for
No,
those
who
things.
says that standard?
You can say things, but you shouldn't go on and tell, you shouldn't say, burn the Arabs.
How
you
do you
shouldn't say
decide?
that.
But who's to decide what's hate speech?
That's not a safe thing to do. That's inciting war.
You could say that about anything.
This country,
I go on and I say,
how many people say, they come back, they say, I visited this country. I am so happy to be an American because I can say whatever I want. I can write whatever I want.
So I'm saying you could say burn the Arabs then in this country.
Listen,
you
can't say that. That would be nice.
No, there
could be standards, but the standards can't be arbitrary and they can't come out of nowhere. So Stern's been doing this stuff forever, and they can't just all of a sudden they just increase the fines by 10 times.
Well, David Duke of the Klan's been doing his thing forever. Now they're going to arbitrarily say he can't say what he says.
Well, if he's been legally saying it on television, then yes, it would be arbitrary to all of a sudden increase the fines by 10.
But if it incites hatred, you shouldn't be able to say it.
How do you decide what incites hatred?
Because saying kill the Arabs is inciting hatred. That's not saying
to you.
Right.
But to other people,
how you going to interpret that as not being?
But here's the thing. You could say to me all night long, kill the Arabs, and I'm not going to go do it unless I feel like it.
Right. I think you can.
Thanks for letting me know.
You can say kill the Arabs, but you can't say kill the Arabs. That's the thing.
By the way, Iranians aren't Arabs, so go ahead and say kill the Arabs. I don't care if you. I'm just kidding.
All right.
See,
I'm glad to say we've gotten nowhere. We'll be right back.
On an all-new South Park.
Working. Okay, how about this?
What the hell is Cartman doing now?
I just need to make Butters think I'm a robot for a little while longer.
It's an all-new episode of South Park. Wednesday at 10 on Comedy Central.
12 kids?
A dozen?
12.
Raising kids. It's an adventure.
Clean up on aisle 12!
Things are getting pretty twisted around here.
Soaked his underwear in meat.
Bring home the family fun.
Funny?
wrong.
Cheaper by the dozen. Buy the biggest comedy today.
How much inspiration can you fit in a small car? Can you make it fun for 2 or 4? Yes. Will 220 horses inspire it to gallop? Absolutely. Can it have more than enough room for her, him, them? Yes. Chrysler PT Cruiser Convertible, starting at $19,995. Chrysler. Inspiration comes standard.
Welcome to the wireless age. Got your HP Pavilion ZT3280 notebook PC featuring Intel Centrino mobile technology. Your HP camera and wireless printer. Setting it up was easy, right, Techno Boy? Because you went to CompUSA for that state-of-the-art HP engineering. Then CompUSA came over, set it up, and trained you for free. Who else gives you so much attention? CompUSA, unmatched.
We all know where your usual breakfast usually ends up. Eat something good. Nutri-Grain, made with whole grain oats, fruit, and calcium. Nutri-Grain, respect yourself in the morning.
This Friday, a man with nothing to live for will become a hero.
Don't let your memories kill you.
With everything to fight for.
No one's ever stood up for me before.
The Punisher, rated R, starts Friday.
Anybody who's anybody knows that our national debt is a problem. But how do we do something about it when we can't even understand it? That's why we present another thrilling episode of Our Complex World coming up.
Doctor, will he be okay?
I'm not sure. Marlene, I've got some bad news. You might want to sit down.
What is it?
Mr. Kensington is running a deficit.
Oh my God! How much of a deficit?
Quite a lot. A little over $7 trillion.
Was that bad?
Well, there are conflicting reports on that. Some say it's not that big a deal, but most economists say that it could be disastrous.
How did this happen?
It's simple, really. Blaine Kensington was spending more money than he was taking in. Billions more. Maybe he never told you.
No, he never mentioned it. Where did he get all this extra money?
Well, he did the same thing the federal government does. By the authority of the Second Liberty Bond Act, he issues bonds and treasury bills that people buy now with the promise that he'll make good on them in a few years. Yes, and if he needs money, he simply issues more bonds.
So no one actually lends him money? He just does this to himself?
Well, in a sense, yes.
Why would he do this? Why would someone spend so much now, knowing that they're going to hurt themselves later?
Because it's fun, that's why.
Who are you?
The name's Blair Kensington. Martini?
You look just like Blaine.
Of course I do. Ever hear of an evil twin, silly?
So, you're the one spending all of Blaine's money.
Excellent diagnosis, doctor. Why not spend it if you got it? $1 million state dinners, Social Security, and a fabulous high-tech military. And the bill all goes to poor Blaine. The deficit thing is a real gravy train. Care to join me, Marlena?
I couldn't.
Why not? Spend now, pay later. And we're not even the ones paying.
Don't do it, Marlena. This is the one chance in your life to be fiscally responsible.
Fine. Stay here with your old fossil and this party pooper.
Show me the world, Blair. Let's forget tomorrow.
Of course, my dear. No! Oh!
No! My God, what have they done? What have they done?
Look Look out, George. There's a black bush in the house.
What about people who say you're only interested in the Middle East for oil?
Oh. Yeah, this bitch still on. I don't know. Come on, y'all, get out of here.
Chappelle's Show. New episode Wednesday at 10:30. We're celebrating 13 years with one crazy-ass week.
We can party all night.
Best of Comedy Central week.
Oh, snap!
Our best stand-up. Our best shows.
It's the celebration, bitch.
The best of our best for an entire week.
Hey, hey, hey.
We're a year older and a week better.
Stop it, Carmen. Okay.
Best of Comedy Central week. All next week, right here on Comedy Central.
In the morning with remoldable Physique Precision Wax, your hair is wow. By the evening without Physique, your hair is yikes. With Physique Precision Wax, you get hair that's extremely remoldable. Try doing that with gel. So it lasts 8 hours longer than leaving salon gels. Longer lasting style with flexible, remoldable Physique Precision Wax. Part of the hair care collection from Physique.
Bro, check this out. Dumb dog. So predictable. Domino's Philly cheesesteak pizza.
No drooling this time.
Guys like Philly cheesesteak, guys like Domino's Pizza. That's why Domino's created the Philly cheesesteak pizza. Get a medium for only $9.99 and any second medium for just $5 more. Get the door. It's Domino's Philly cheesesteak pizza.
The 265 horsepower, 7-passenger Acura MDX. It's at home just about any place on Earth.
Interrupt this broadcast to bring you a special Tax Day bulletin from Playboy TV. Let's go to Ace reporter Kit Pomodoro in the field.
Thanks, Chanel. Preparing his taxes has put this man over the edge. Too bad he didn't know about Playboy TV's Tax Day sweepstakes.
What? Order Playboy TV and you could win a trip to Hollywood and lunch at the Playboy Mansion.
This is better than a refund.
Order Playboy TV on demand from April 15th through the 22nd. Call 866-48-DIGITAL or visit io.tv/subscriptions.
Good morning, Mr. Costa.
You know, it's been alleged that Mrs. Stifle up in 7C had several noise complaints against her last night. Care to comment?
Come on, you know I can't say anything.
You are one tight-lipped hombre. You know, I respect that whole code of silence thing. Tell me, do you have to sign a secrecy agreement or some sort of non-disclosure pact in order to become a doorman?
I'm not at liberty to discuss.
And what's with the epaulets? Is there some sort of military hierarchy to the doorman trade?
Oh, look at that. Time for my break.
Don't have HBO? Call now to order. 1-866-94-DIGITAL. I'm back. The 100 greatest stand-ups of all time. This week at 9 on Comedy Central.
Folks, gamblers everywhere are inspired by the British man who sold everything he owned, bet it all, and won. If you had to get rid of everything except for 3 things, what would you keep? Maz?
Well, this is an interesting question because when my family had to flee Iran around the 1979 revolution, we were faced with this same dilemma. We had very little time to gather 3 things and leave the country. So we ended up bringing a suitcase filled with cash, one of the American hostages as a gesture of goodwill, and because we're moving to California, we brought a Persian to Spanish dictionary.
All right. Judy. Nice. Judy.
How do I, compete with that? It's
Judy, what are you asking me?
Very
I didn't write
funny.
it for.
Thank you.
Well, I would bring my cell phone, and of course my vibrator. Oh wait, I could just put my cell phone on vibrate. All right, so that leaves 2 more then. So I bring my electric toothbrush, the one that vibrates at the top, that little, yeah, I'm sorry. And finally, I'd bring my Bible, because when Miriam hooks up with Esau, oh, it is so raw that even John Ashcroft gets all hot and moist. Enjoy your day.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah,
you had to bring up the OT the day after Easter, didn't you?
I'm sorry.
Old Testament, OT. Okay, Tony V.
Well, bowing to political correctness, I would let my wife decide whether or not she wanted to be wagered. That being said, the three things I'd keep with me were my first edition copy of Chicken Soup for the Degenerate Gambler's Soul, my autographed picture of Pete Rose, bearing the inscription, "Don't believe them. Do you have $5? I got a hunch. Love, Pete." And my lifetime membership pass to the Liberace Museum, because honestly, Lee will never let you down, Colin.
Very fun words. Greg!
Well, I myself have gambled pretty recklessly, but not intentionally. It's just that I work in Vegas a lot and I'm a drunk. And to me, life is not about material possessions. It's about the high you get hawking your wedding ring in a Reno pawn shop. So, if I did something like this, I wouldn't keep anything. I'd go big. I'd bet it all. I mean, as much as I love my children, betting them would be the ultimate adrenaline rush. And unlike Tony, I wouldn't give my wife the choice. I would keep her. I wouldn't bet her, because we've been through a lot, and I've made enough bad jokes about her on the show, let's be honest. And besides, I don't think I could get much for her.
That's the show tonight.
Good evening, sir.
Well, good evening to you, sir.
Tonight, you had a comic from Iran on the show. Why are there not more Middle Eastern comedians?
I guess you'd have to ask him that. I mean, well, it's the kind of place where, like, I don't know, on stage in America, if you're like, that one guy that annoys you at work, in the Middle East, I'd be like, yeah, why would you not kill him? I don't understand. So it's hard to have people identify. Well, it was a good try, considering that setup was kind of tough.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Fillmore Auditorium in beautiful San Francisco!